After a stretch of weak tablet sales, Apple found a hit in its low-cost iPad early last year. A follow-up was inevitable, and the company unveiled just that at a massive high school in Chicago not too long ago. So, what does $329 get you in an iPad in 2018? Quite a lot, actually. Let's take a closer look. If you're looking for significant changes here, you won't find them on the outside. The 2018 iPad uses the exact same body as last year's model, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. Its aluminum body weighs in at just a hair over a pound, and it still feels remarkably sturdy for what amounts to being Apple's budget model. The iPad's 9.7-inch Retina display still renders colors really nicely too, and it's bright enough to make the iPad pretty usable even under bright sunlight. It would have been nice to get one of Apple's side-mounted smart connectors here so we could magnetically attach some accessories, but hey, the company has to keep its Pro line special somehow. We're also looking at improved performance with the A10 Fusion chipset, which was first found in the iPhone 7 and 7 Plus. So far, it's been able to handle a lot, including augmented reality games and apps with no problem, and that's crucial, since Apple is very strongly pushing this iPad as an education machine. Even so, the benefits of a more powerful chipset are clear to everyone else too. Whipping through matches in PUBG Mobile with graphical settings cranked up to high was a thrill, and it never gave the iPad any trouble. Ditto for jumping between multiple apps and running apps side by side. Apple may have made it sound like the iPad's power was best suited to classrooms, but that's definitely not true. There's enough horsepower here for everyone. And you don't need to worry about battery life too much either. In our video playback tests, the iPad lasted a couple hours over Apple's 10-hour estimate. The level of performance we squeezed out of last year's iPad was impressive enough for the price, and this year the value is even stronger. That's especially true if you've been curious about Apple's Pencil. The stylus used to be an iPad Pro exclusive, and it works just about as well here as it did on that more expensive device. It's still very good at detecting pressure and pen angles when doodling or taking notes, and it's generally a pleasure to use. The experience really hasn't changed at all here, except for the fact that the gap between the Retina display and the glass covering it means the Pencil makes a more pronounced plunking sound than an iPad Pro when you tap the screen with it. There's very little difference in using the Pencil on a $650 iPad Pro and a tablet that costs half that. The bigger question is whether the Pencil itself is worth the $99 asking price, and I'm still not so sure. It's undeniably good at what it does, but it'll set you back roughly a third of what the iPad itself costs. New features like the ability to draw in Apple's iWork apps and mark up documents in Pages with the new Smart Annotation feature are really welcome additions, but for me, the iPad has always been a finger-first machine, and the Pencil only really seems to excel if you're an artist or an ardent note-taker. I'm no teacher, so I obviously can't comment on what kind of impact this machine will have in schools. Apple is clearly focusing on the quality of its education software as a key to win over Google, and this is easily the best cheap iPad Apple has ever made. Still, it's more expensive than the sorts of Chromebooks you'd often find being carried through locker-filled corridors. Outside of schools, though, the 2018 iPad seems more like a clear winner. There are cheaper tablets out there, sure, but the blend of well-built hardware, enough power for just about everyone, and a low price mean few options are as potent as this one. It might not be perfect, but for now, Apple's 2018 iPad is the low-cost tablet to beat.